Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'een. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladina an'amta alayhim. Ghair maghdubi alayhim. Wala dwalin. Alhamdulillah. Dr. Sonata Kamara, co-founder of Temple Mother Earth, sending love, peace, and abundance prayer to everyone around the world.
Welcome to Moorish Monday with Abdullah Il Talib Mosi Bey. This is also being aired on Magnus Crystal Pyramid YouTube. Also being aired on the Moroccan Post Media YouTube. And so I want to also thank Brother Hank for having me for the 21st consecutive month. I have, for the second time, Abundance Child is in the house. She was with us back in June. I'm so excited. I've known, as I said, in June, I've known Abundance Child for 15 years. And it's just great to see her back on the scene. This sister is a dynamic sister. She, and I said before back in June, she's very charismatic, outgoing. She has a very intelligent, has a wealth of knowledge, as y'all heard on back in June, and since that fact the broadcast can be seen on this Magnus Crystal Pyramid YouTube. I can't remember, I think it was the second Monday in June, I believe. So we have today's topic is generational assignments, breaking patterns, building remedies. I'm so excited about this topic. Abundance sent me some of her talking points. So I was excited. And just thank you, Abundance, for accepting this invitation, for gracing us with your presence. And the reason I'm so excited because, Abundance, you have a wealth of knowledge. You have so much to offer our people.
Wow.
And we see a lot of brothers, over the years, brothers, sisters would ask Taj and me, where the sisters at?
Mm-hmm.
I'm serious, and the different roundtable classes and some different platforms different venues that Taj and I were on, and they would ask. And by the way, Taj Sharif Bey was my guest last week.
It was an amazing show. Congratulations!
Yes,
wow.
Yes. And so here's a sister right here. I've had Bacola Kusar Il on 5 times, and she did 4 presentations. So I've had Sister Kasha. Sister Kasha was on. Luisa Flores.
Yes.
I have a sister next week, Sister Anita Powell. Sister Anita Powell will be my guest next week. Week after that, Sister Shanae Horford, she'll be on. And I think I have, so I got those sisters lined up too. So, but this is Sister Abundance Child, known each other for 15 years. So we got, and just excited to have her back. And she'll be coming back. So we're gonna get right to it.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna have a section for questions. So as you're listening to the broadcast, feel free to type your comments and questions in the chat. Once again, those who are just joining us, today I have the esteemed guests, Abundance Child, topic, generational assignments, breaking patterns, building remedies.
Yeah.
Just don't forget to hit that like button. If you haven't done so, hit the subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let people know that we're on. You know, send out this link, post it on your different social media platforms. Let people know that we're on. All right, send that calling out. Abundance Child, you have the floor. Why this topic? Why generational assignment, breaking patterns, building remedies?
I enjoyed the last show that you had with Taj, and you were so into the show that you weren't able to keep up with the chat, like in real time, to see the questions. And the questions were saying stuff like, what does this have to do with Prophet Noble Drew Ali? Where did Prophet Noble Drew Ali say these things? And I was just like doing my best to hold it down. Like I went back to all of my notes and I copied the ones that I could remember. And you saw I posted that, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
I answered all
I
the questions
saw that. I saw
to the
that.
best of my ability. And I was just like, if people really understood divinity. Remember, you talked about that. You said, I don't really think people understand the divine side. I don't think they understand the divine.
Yeah, I have. Yes, I have. Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I came up with the idea. I was like, we need to get into, not in a religious way, but in a way that can lead us as energy and spiritually to what divinity is and how it's directly linked to nationality. And if we don't have the divine side, which to me is like the circle I thought about after the show, let me draw a circle and let me take a line and take it down this way and then another line this way horizontally and put us right there in the center. Now in the center, if there's a proverbial line where we go 0, -1, -2, -3, or +1 in any of these directions, north, south, east, west, and all the ways in between. And let's say you have some guns over here and you have some love over here and you have some complaints and all the problems you have over here. And then you have some gifts and talents over here. You're in the center, not seeing that all of these things are affecting you. But there's an illusion because most people are looking at it this way where they would see a cross. They're not seeing it as above, so below. They're not seeing it beyond the third dimension. So you're not understanding that there's very different realms where our thoughts have created forms and they show up. Sometimes they show up in our dreams. Sometimes they show up in the reflection of a person right before us or in a situation. And we don't realize how powerful we are as divine representations of the all here on assignment to get something done. Everybody's not in their same place evolutionary on the cycle of being here. So, like, for example, my grandson was born, and when we did the naming ceremony, it came out that this is his 16th lifetime. And that the last time he was here was 5 generations ago. And I'm like, I wish I knew this information coming in here. I wish my parents were on this type of thing to be able to tell me who I am and where I came from. And was it my mother's line or was it my father's line? What did I come here to do? So it got me thinking that we are so immersed in politics and all these other isms and things like that, that we're like a ship without a rudder that just drifts anywhere. Why am I bringing up the rudder? Because one of the first things Saj gave me, said, I need you to study this, was the rudder and the sextant, right? So it also made me think about where he was, more 777 kept saying, and where did Prophet Noble Drew Ali and all of this type of stuff. And I was thinking about all these things that were within the movement of the Moorish Divine National Movement, but it wasn't necessarily spelled out. Like we actually have to use our mind and divinity to be able to make some of these prophecies happen. But needless to say, we still have an assignment. We all have an individual and a collective assignment. And it comes from the DNA that we've collected from our paternal and the DNA that we have collected from our maternal. All of these things are within us. We have the left side, which is usually our mother's side, and we think about the left brain. There's just so many different ways to break it down without having to deal with religion, because science has now affirmed these things. But we still don't know why we are here. Why? Because most of us are going to public schools and things like that. We didn't get born into a more science temple or having this information. We're just doing what we think that we're supposed to do. And then at some point we wake up and we're just like, I hate my life. I hate my job. I hate my wife. I hate my husband, And that's why I said we got to get back to our generational assignments, and we have to figure out how to steer away from being the minority, how to steer away from being stateless, how to steer away from being labeled. And instead of just letting this ship, this corporation, these governments and other families, which are incorporated, to just lead our way. So the practical remedy is, am I steering my life, or is it being stirred? But in real life, the check-in is the sextant. It's the self-check. And if you're able to check a bank account, you're able to check your health, you're able to check Facebook and stuff like that. When do we reflect and check on our whole purpose and reasoning for being here? What is your generational assignment? Sometimes we find them out and through growth, and the growth doesn't look like freedom because that man left us, right? Or I got fired from the job. But we are not able to stay still enough to see our future, because the past, present, if time never was when man was not. So if things really move in a secular way, not a linear way, we should be able to access the future based off of where the present was and where we were in the past. It's all the same. So because we're not still enough to do that, we're not able to see our positioning, and we're not able to understand our assignment. So I can only use my own life, for example. I didn't know that it's my life experience. Even though I'm an information junkie, I love all the stuff that you send me, and I feel like at any time I could just pop off. I'm one of those people that have a gift. I can just pop off and save codes and stuff like that. That's not what I was here to do. People value what I have to say based off of the things that came out of my mouth is because of my life experience. I could literally be in the chat and be like, this stuff does work. My children were actually kidnapped and they were forced into slavery in bondage by having to go to a foster care system where they were getting paid for that. And the state of Delaware is one of those states or corporations that get paid to take children away from low income parents, where they messed up because I didn't have any contracts with the state at that time. I didn't have a driver's license, wasn't using I wasn't using any of those instruments, right? And I really thought I was dissolving some stuff at the time, but I wasn't using any of those instruments, didn't have my child in the hospital. I was like, y'all got the wrong one. But the point is that my ancestral assignment kicked in. Something said you need to say for the record who you are and who your children are. And you ain't no 14th, 15th Amendment flunky. You're not Black, you're not African American, you're not any of this. And I've been on Ancestry.com long enough to know that my grandmother was from North Carolina and her mother was from South Carolina and her parents were from South Carolina. In 1800, it said that William H. Riley Willie H. Bell was a farmer in 1800, and they actually had a marriage on the record. Well, so-called people in bonds and slaves weren't getting married. We weren't allowed to. At 1800, that means that these people were free, that these people were existed, so then I had to do more research. I had to find out, well, why did it say here that she was mulatto, but on the death record, it has her as Negro? I don't understand this. I had to start. So I started understanding my generational assignment. And when you start getting in touch with your generational assignment and start doing the work, then those entities and those energies will activate inside of you. And all of a sudden you'll be saying things. You might think it's because you read a lot, but it's because it's like those memes that say you have 10,000 ancestors. No, you activated them because you're calling their names. You're looking for death records. You're looking for birth records. You're doing the genealogy work. You're saying, listen, I know I'm not Negro. I know I'm not Black, but I need finance to be able to pay the bills in my house. What do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you got to, at some point, figure out what is your generational assignment. Everybody's not here to be the president of the United States Corporation. Everybody's not here to be in the Moorish and Divine National Movement. It took me a long time to be like, your gift is with food and healing. You know, it's not luxurious. It's not the platform of a bunch of y'all live. And it's not that. You have a way with food, and people really need that right now because the way they're eating is blocking a lot of things. We've downloaded and crystallized so many things in our bodies that we can't even get to the state of mind and consciousness to just be like, you know, I removed that, I revised that. That is not me. That's not how I'm showing up. And this is how it might be in the 3D, but in 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, that's not me. That's not that. And we can't do it because we have blockers in the physical 3D because we still eating things that we shouldn't be eating. And I don't think it's even based off of anything Dr. Sabi said, Dr. Africa said, or any of these people. It's based off of your own generational assignment. You got to be still enough to know what that is. So that's what generational assignments mean. It's just really tapping into your lineage. Who are your mother and father? I don't like my mother and father. I don't talk to them. Okay, well, let's talk about that. Because everything is a contract in this universe, and you chose those beings to come through to have a certain experience so that you can evolve. So let's talk about that. What is it that you didn't like about your relationship with your mother? Well, why do you think that happened to you? Maybe you had to go through that experience so you can become that parent to your own children. We're supposed to evolve. We're supposed to break these curses so that we can usher in these blessings. So I think that's what's happening. I think that we as a people really are kind of not woke. And we've had it so easy by not being born in a place with Nigeria. And here, government standards said that even if you're poor, you have to have running water, you have to have heat, you have to have toilets and things like that, right? That's what they have in the projects. But over there, I've been over there, and I'm like, I cannot believe there are no paved roads, and it's potholes, and it's crazy, and there's no electricity, and I'm getting sick because the water is different. Like, the poverty in other places is not like the poverty in the United States. And we have just been so comfortable, and we really haven't experienced, other than through reading, that our ancestors went through something, and we don't really feel it and believe it. It takes us to watch something like 12 Years a Slave or Roots or some weird stuff, or have National Pride when a Wakanda comes out. But that's somebody else putting out images and projections. Like, we really are living in a huge Truman Show of natural energies that preceded us.
Yes.
And I feel like we have to get down to the divinity of purpose and of earth. Like, we are literally in the earth. We are literally on this earth ship that is moving at so many 1,000 miles per square second, right? Like, we don't realize, like, when you're in a car and you're going 55 miles an hour, that car is traveling at the same rate that the earth is riding at, and you're also moving the same way the car is. We don't see, like, we're in constant state of movement. So I just I think that we got to get back to who we are. I don't care if it's going to be tarot. I don't care if it's going to be Ifa, Condoble, Santeria. We need to do what our ancestors were doing in our lineage to figure out how we can overcome some of these things, because ancestors are our first line of defense. They are always with us and walking with us. You don't need to be initiated. You don't need a shrine to have a relationship with your ancestors. You don't. And the best way to have a relationship with your ancestors is to treat your living ancestors, the mother, your father, your aunties, your uncles, your grandparents. Have like, treat them with respect to appease them. Like, it doesn't have to be like woo woo weird stuff. So finding out who we are is very important.
So you're talking about generational assignment, and you're coming from the divine. You're beginning with the divine, what's known as the unseen world or invisible world, and where you things are sped up, you know what I mean, like a gyroscope, and you have a gyroscope, and it's like going so fast that it appears to be moving, that it appears not to be moving, you know, and that's where it begins, and that's where you're starting, which is very important. And when you mention that we need to know our generational assignment, and you're coming from a divine, what is our divine generational assignment?
What is steering your ship? Your physical ship, this masquerade that we have to have in order to be in this dimension. Because every being is not able to make it into this dimension. This dimension is very dense. We know that because we feel things deeply. There's a lot of emotion, things done by emotion here. It is a very dense place. Not all beings are able to do it or want to be in this space, but we all have a belly button. Nobody's greater. Just because you have more information, brother Mosi Bay, don't mean that you are better than me. You understand what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you came, and at the end of the day, you're going to have to leave. But leave to go where is the question? The beyond, the unseen. So whether you're tapped into it or not, it's tapped into you, because we all have a cord. We all have a umbilical cord that was cut. It was cut only here, where it still exists, and it's attached to my mother and her mother and her mother and her mother since the beginning of time, since the beginning of human time. And how we even got here from even other star systems and stuff like that. It's just to break it down, the as above, so below. So what is going on in the invisible realm is being manifested here in this physical realm. You know how they say misery likes company? If you keep saying it ain't it, I ain't never gonna get the right job. I'm always gonna be living paycheck. I'm never gonna get the kind of man. Men ain't nothing. That's exactly what you're gonna keep attracting to you. Every single relationship, everything that has ever happened to you in anybody's life is because you thought it and you manifested it with the word, and it became flesh. That's the realm that we in. Y'all gotta know the science. So, what is the flesh and the meaning behind? What were your parents doing? I mean, real talk. I was like, well, what position was I conceived in? Whatever you need to know. What were you thinking about when you were with me? I understand a lot of my masculine energy, which I'm so thankful for that light. I'm so thankful for that Shango, that fire, and my ability to speak. And my words carry truth and power. And I've had to learn how to balance it, because do you know, the whole time before ultrasounds, they thought I was a man child. My mom was highly upset to find out I was a girl. But I came out like the tomboy and all of these types of things, and didn't want to do anything feminine and what they called girly. And I had to balance those things out later on in life, not because of gender, not because of society. It's just because you really have to balance energy. But all of that was helpful to me once I realized what my assignment is here on this earth.
Very important. Very important. This is very thought provoking, my audience.
Oh, thank you.
Those who are just joining us, I'm here with Abundance Child for the second time. She was with us back in June, and today's topic is generational assignments, breaking bondage, breaking chains, and breaking patterns and building remedies. Breaking patterns and building remedies. We will have a Q&A section portion of this presentation. So as you're thinking of any questions or comments, put them in the chat. I will be going to the chat. And so wonderful, sister, as always.
Thank you.
As always. You did send me your talking points, and I'm looking over them. And let me just jump to this one here. Cycles not linear. Time never was when man was not. We are our ancestors returning.
Yeah.
Let's go give us some more insight. And though you mentioned that, a few minutes ago, we are our ancestors returning.
before More survived the national movement, this is a true story. Before I met Brother Raheem Bey of Moore's, he has a business down here. Used to have the own More Ways Construction.
Oh yeah, Raheem.
Right.
More ways.
I had on my red, black, and green. You know.
Yeah, I remember.
Know me from only wearing red, black, and green. Like I was about it. I'm an African.
Yeah, I remember Raheem. Wow.
Blacker than black. I take it back to my origin. Dead Prez never left my CD player. You couldn't tell me nothing. UNIA, Black Power, All African People's Revolutionary Party, all the things that I became cadres and members of, right? Couldn't tell me nothing. So I had nerve. I saw him and Sister Nzinga's shop down here, Nzinga's Cultural Connection, and I had my little presentation ready, you know, with the like the report covers, and I was just like, this is my Buy Black program. I think that everybody, when you have a Black business like Molly's Old Fashioned Ice Cream or Drop Squad Kitchen, we should have this red, black, and green flag on the windows that show people that this is a Black owned business, and you get 10% off by becoming a member, you know, stuff like that. He was like, so what's your nationality? I was like, I don't know what you mean. I really didn't know what he meant. I'm like, why are you asking me this question? I'm trying to see if More Ways wants to be a participant. He's like, no, it's a serious question. Like, what's your nationality? Like, what are you? I was like, I'm African, I'm Black. He said, Willie says you African, you're Black. And I was like, yeah. And he handed me this information. He said, I really want you to just come to one of our meetings. Just come to one of our meetings. He started this temple here, man. I had joined that temple like 2 weeks later. I was not playing, like, especially the civic side really got me. But what I was told, I was just like, I thought the reason why Black people were in the United States or the territory known as the United States was because of slavery, of what they call slavery, not prisoners, none of the stuff that I understand now or comprehend now. It was mind blowing. I said, this is it for me. Like, I'm done. I don't need another thing in my life. I had already been a member of Ile Igoke Ifa Temple of Spirituality since like 1995. I already had birthed my ancestors. I was already on that, but I hid that. Like, I didn't want nobody to know when I was on AC Live that I was doing that kind of stuff, because I ran into a lot of, oh, that's like paganism, that's heathenism, it's only Islam and that's it. And I'm just like, okay. So I went with that, right? But it changed my life. And I realized that many young people to this day are starting behind in this race of life because they think that it started with even the word slavery, like we come from Slavs, right? And so it reminded me that time never was when man was not, and that we actually are ancestors. This is not a cliche. Like, we actually, we all know that from sex, there were two people that got together and created us in this realm at where we are right now, right? I'm not saying that things never happened in other ways, but as far as I know, I have a mother and a father, and they had mothers and fathers, and they had mothers and fathers. And so I think that family genealogy projects, oral storytelling nights, DNA tests, not to say what tribe that you're from. That's not, I don't think none of that's real. Like, y'all need to go on with that. You know, they done tested animals and stuff like that, and it said that this animal was from this tribe and such and such. So no, I don't. But for paternity type tests, being able to discover your other people that might have more information in your bloodline, I think that that's important. And finding out who our ancestors, what they called themselves. So, for example, I like to use myself as an example. I know one of my generational assignments is for my ancestors to be standing up, and they want to be counted as who they are. They don't want to be colored and Negro anymore. That's not what we were called. So when I was about 16, my mom gifted me a Bible, and in the Bible, it was transcribed and a obituary fell out. The obituary fell out, said that this person who had passed, only surviving son or child was my father, Ronald Arzell McIntyre, and his wife, Maxine Johnson, who live in Dover, Delaware. I'm like, No, my grandparents are Marie Allen and George McIntyre. So I'm asking, like, what in the holy? My mom was like, well, at the time she was married to George McIntyre, but when she had your father with Freddie Hill. Are you kidding me? I've never liked the name Tamiko McIntyre. I was just like, what is Tamiko Marie McIntyre? It just never resonated with me ever. And when my grandmother tried to call me Tammy, I was like, no. I've never liked a Tammy in my life. Like, we don't vibe. So no, I am Tamiko. Tamiko with the O. And call me by my name. So I've always loved my name. I always loved Marie because it was my grandmother's namesake. But that McIntyre Scottish thing, it just really didn't resonate with me, right? So I called 201-555-1212. And everybody that was still living in that place, I'm like, hey, I am a descendant of Freddie Hill, and my parents were separated. I don't know this family. Can you tell me who can you tell me who my people are? They said, well, they pointed me all the way to Jeffersonville, Georgia, which is Muskogee County. And they live on, I can't pronounce it, Ocmulgee something river. I went down there in 1994 and I met all of those people. I found so much history. They gave me so many pictures that I did not even uncover until even recently. I finally, for the first time, saw what my actual paternal grandfather looks like. Okay, so fast forward into the Moorish Divine and National Movement. These people called Duabian Nations of Moors coming up talking about their Yamasee, right? So I'm coming to find out that my family, which they told me were on that same land since before slavery. I'm like, I don't understand. Like, what are you talking about? Because remember, I met these people before I came into the Moorish Divine and National Movement. I joined the Moorish Science Temple in like 2008. So this was like in the 1990s. I'm like, I don't understand how you were on the land before slavery. So my people are like the original Creeks. Muskogee is the linguistics. It's not the actual tribe. So that's what I mean about finding out who were your people. Come to find out that the Grahams in my family from South Carolina are the Grahams and the Locklears, and they're Lumbee. And my great-great-great-grandmother married Ned Graham, who was first generation Scotland Graham from Ireland. Like, it's just so much stuff. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then I found out that my grandfather before that on one side is John Chavis, and that my family were the largest landowners in the Northeast Corridor, and he fought in the Revolutionary War so we wouldn't lose our land. Then on my father's side, we're also the free blacks of Israel Hill. These are free people that had their own settlement. Okay, I understand my assignment. I get it. I come from these type of ancestors, and Ned Graham. It's just so much. It's just so much. I have find out like through newspaper they got like mountains named after him and stuff like that. So do you see what I mean?
Give me a minute. Abundance. Our brother Lee. I just went to the chat because I'm looking at questions, and I did. Our brother, you're gonna be blocked because I did say it last week, brother. You're gonna be blocked. All right, you're gonna be blocked. So I want to make it very clear. Lee Bay, you will be blocked. I told you not to do this last week. You 50 times. 50, you posted comments 50 different times. You're doing it now. You have one. You will be blocked. I'm letting you know right now. I'm going to talk to Hank, and we're going to block you. All right? Because you already got 10 already, and we got an hour and a half left. Lee Bay, please do not post anything else. This will be your last time. I'm going to talk to Hank. You will be blocked. You don't need to give any lessons. Abundance Child is presenting the lessons. Please, Lee Bay, do not post anything else in the chat. Hank, if you hear me, please block Lee Bay.
Yes, we thank you for
Please block Lee Bay. I'm making it very clear. I warned you last week. All right. I'm very serious about this. because it makes it very challenging for me for me to look at other people's comments. I'm trying to find other people's, because you got 10 already, brother. Brother Hank, please block Lee Bay. I'm serious, because abundance. You saw what I dealt last week? He had about 50 of them. And I'm like, I'm trying to scroll through and find other, it's not fair. Yeah. So Hank, if you hear me, block Lee Bay. I'm very serious. He thought I was playing. I'm not. I warned him last week. Go ahead, sister.
Yeah. Thank you, brother Hank. So yeah, that's all I'm saying. It's from real life experience that I figured out my assignment. I started cooking out of necessity because I became vegan in 1993. I noticed I was one of those young women that had so much acne on my face. I became vegan within my month. My skin had cleared up, and I was just like, this is my way of life. It's not because I didn't miss the taste of meat or anything like that, but I spiritually evolved. And now I'm like, thinking about eating meat that I didn't grow or I didn't pray over, and all the energy with allowing like dead energy in my body. Like I can't do it anymore. Like that's where I'm at now with it. It's not any of the reasons why people go vegan nowadays. Vegan wasn't even the word for the thing. So out of survival, I started being like, yeah, but I really miss ribs. I really miss fried chicken and Philly cheesesteaks. Oh my gosh. So I came up with like the V steak, and I made a whole business out of it. And it was a good and honest living. And people till this day are like, we miss it in the riverfront, even though we still do it. It was part of my assignment. People need to know how to transition into a more healthy diet. I'm not saying that vegan diet is the healthiest, but I know how to work with plants. I really get a lot of great downloads through plants, and I understand that there is an energy, and even an energy that personified itself named Osine, which I have in my body. So I really can work with plants. Like I understand their properties and the esoteric meanings for why they exist for us. So there's even a dimension where I was talking to my ancestral guides. They're like, yeah, we don't even eat. So none of this stuff even matters, which reminded me of Jewel Pookrum back in the day. She was talking about how you can eat pork, and if you have a certain state of mind, it's not going to bother you. So I do believe all of that. I believe that it's all state of mind. I just personally don't want to eat pork. Okay. And also, in one of the mediums that I use for my spirituality is Ifa. Nothing is a taboo unless it fell on the mat for you, that you can't eat bush meat, you can't drink palm wine, you can't do certain things. So unless it is told to you by the oracle Ifa Tahuti that you can't eat a certain thing, you can eat it. But I just feel better not eating those things. And I like to teach people and show them how you can make ribs, how you can make fried chicken, how you can, and use better oils and things like that. So that is part of my generational assignment. As much as it wasn't luxurious and it was hard work, that is where my abundance comes. Also, just using tools like numerology, life path 33, master teacher. Okay, get it. 6, which comes to a 6. So I have to understand the balancement of that, meaning that I'm, in the house of like the public and career and all of that is where my communication is, which is Mercury. It's in Pisces. So it's always going to be on the esoteric divine aspect. It's also where my Mars is in Aquarius. So that's also where I fight. But I'm going to fight like a humanitarian in a different type of way. But using my words, using my speech is my assignment, to use that in a way to talk. I am a broadcaster, right? And it doesn't matter if I'm doing it on YouTube. It's wherever I go, that abundance follows me. So I understand that that is my assignment. And I happen to marry Mr. John Carr, believe in you himself, that he's always reminding me when I try to shut up because somebody's like, she's too loud or her tone is messed up. He says, repeat after me. My power is in my voice, and I will never let anyone silence me. That is my assignment. And the Most High and the ancestors knew I needed somebody who could love me unfiltered and didn't see that I am a masculine woman because I know how to, use my strength and my skill set. So that's what I mean about generational assignment. When I didn't understand my generational assignment, I kept attracting people that I was too much for. Imagine that, being abundance, but I am too much. I'm too loud. I'm too opinionated. You need to sit down. You need to hold your tongue. I didn't know my generational assignment. So therefore, my center, my balancement was off. So we have so many tools in this age that we're going to of Aquarius where you have access to a lot of information in real time. So, like I said, you can use numerology, astrology, cosmophysics, tarot. There's so many ways that we can get this information on the divine side so that we can do the work in the community using our talents, which is the remedies for the national side. Because if you don't know your generational assignment, who you partner up with to be fruitful and multiply is going to be a problem. How many more generations do we have to be raising women, single women have to be raising males and females by ourselves? When are we going to understand the generational assignments that were passed down by our ancestral mothers, the mothers that we have? When are we going to pay attention to the things that were happening in our house, the things that our parents are saying, and realizing, you know what, we stop. We're not doing that. Nobody else in our bloodlines are getting molested. No other women are going to do more for men and just be giving and giving and giving. Because I know that I have a long line of women who give, but we outgive. Like we give because we don't love ourselves enough to know when to have a boundary. So when are we going to stop doing that? And that's what I'm instilling in my daughters. Like, you are enough. What you want to do is when you realize you are enough, you will attract what is enough to you. And then y'all can become whole, and y'all can become one, and you can bring forth children that will have that state of mind. And we can get on here and get on with our assignments and meet with other families who understand their assignments. And I doing the food. Abdullah's over here doing the etymology and making sure we have context to every single thing that went on in history so we understand who we are right now. And these people right here are the people who are doing the law. These people right here are protecting the land. These people know how to use the stick, the knife, and the firearm. These people, you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
We don't have to be all, just do you.
Absolutely. You want to take, I have a couple questions and comments. Want to fill some questions?
Absolutely.
We have here Raul. What's the way to find the generational assignment?
Use yourself as a barometer. What is happening in your family that you see is a family trait? Like, for example, I went down there to the South and they said all the hills. In fact, this just happened. I had a Beyond Juneteenth ancestral festival. And I'm up here complaining. Even my Elay and my regular people that say they love me didn't show up. But King Simon can come all the way from Atlanta. And Baba Ifa Kunle can come all the way from New York. But I can't even get the people around here in Delaware to show up, right? But meanwhile, this sister in Georgia came. And she came back to my house later. And she said, yeah, your family's from Twiggs County, but I know they ain't from Dry Branch. I went on Ancestry.com. I said, yes, my family is from Dry Branch. Can you believe we were kin? I found more folks. And they came all the way up here, not even knowing that. And one of the things we talked about, I said, well, one of the things I heard was that we're all very outspoken. And like, if something happens to the family, like we're all like the people who be like, yo, they can get it. I'm that type of person. You took my kids, what? The whole state of Delaware, Newcastle County, city of Wilmington, y'all can get it, right? And that's how I found out, okay, this is the trait. But I also found out that we are those people, and all the people on my father's bloodline, my grandmother, my grandfather, and every single one of my aunties and uncles that came from her womb, all were alcoholics, like literally died from complications from alcohol and things like that. That's how I know my generational assignment is to have balancement and like my mind early on, because I had missed my father in life. I was like, I would never be an alcoholic. To this day, you will never see me having a hard day and be like, you know what, I need some wine or I need a drink, because I am not going to become an alcoholic. I'm not going to be addicted to anything. I stopped that generational pattern. So I gave you all of that story so you can understand how I came up with it. I'm somebody that can't do things. I have to be in balancement, like my life number. Like, I have to be balanced. I can drink, I can smoke, but you can't be doing it every day. You can't be drinking every day. You can't be partying hard every day. All the women in my family had diabetes. So I stopped that by being like, you know what? I'm going to eat differently. There was a lot of molestation going on in our family and stuff like that. I was like, nope, we're done with that. Why? Because I have to understand and value who I am and can't be in a relationship with men that are pedophiles. You know, like, why is this happening? Like, what? So now I understand why I chose to come in a situation like that. And I was so upset and disappointed with my family. And now I'm so thankful that they did the best that they can, because there were some generational things behind that. But I know who I am now. And in order to be able to give somebody a remedy, most likely you should have had some type of understanding from life experience. I actually can speak to anybody who's been raped, anybody who has domestic violence, anybody who's been abused sexually. I can talk to people and I can tell them how to get out of that situation and why they chose that, because we are here. Most of us are not here like my grandbaby who doesn't have karmic debt. Ifa really said that he has no karmic debt. And if he gets a debt, it's going to be based off of the lack of discipline that we give him in this life. So I'm not somebody who came like that. I have some karmic debt. Maybe I molested or raped somebody in a past life. We don't know, because that's the way the universe works. You can't get the cheat codes. So you're going to come in here and you're not going to remember. Our job is to remember and to wake up and become in alignment with our higher self, which sits in the beyond, taking accountability for all the stuff we're doing in the 3D. Every religion talks about that. There's going to be a judgment day, right? But we fail to realize in the beyond is even more real than this, that this is the simulation. So get it together, get your assignments, and look at your life to know what your assignment is. It's really easy to tell. Look at your astrology chart. My astrology chart, based off of house placements and things like that, says I will never, ever be in a regular institution of higher learning. I tried Clark Atlanta, Delaware State. I did not graduate. You know where I was? At the Bobby Hemmett lectures, Stokely Carmichael lectures, going to see people like Toni Morrison and Alice Walker and anybody that they came down. Like if you were to come down to Taj, I was sitting right there taking all the notes, downloading all that information. And my parents were like, I'm not paying you to go Bobby Hemmett lectures. Man, that man changed my life at Clark Atlanta University. Going to see him. I have all the notes and all the flyers. I am one of those people that save everything. So when I looked at my astrology chart, I was like, oh, you were never supposed to be there. That's why I'm very clear about, we have to do this for ourselves and then for our children and teach them the way, so that we bring in new children and we can help them with their assignments. We can understand who they are when they show up. My whole life, all the witches in our family have this mole. Like, what? I always thought that was a diss. My whole life. She's so old. You are old.
Then I said, I love for fire. This is what I was talking about, y'all. This is what I was talking about. You know, I've known Abundance for 15 years, and this is the fire. This sister is fiery in a very, meaning that in a positive way. And we need Abundance. We need you.
Sure, thank you.
Not only our women, but our brothers. So not only our women, but our brothers. And we need you. Our brothers, our women, our brothers and sisters need to see women like you, uncompromising.
So I just use my life.
That fire is passion. Fire is the love she has for our people and our ancestors. That's what that is.
That's the one thing I realized. That's all we have is each other. Like, we're gonna keep rotating and rotating and rotating. You know what I mean? We're gonna keep seeing ourselves everywhere. Everybody in this chat right now is a reflection. We are here in divine time for a divine reason and divine purpose. There's something that I have to give you, and there's something that they have to give me. It is fair exchange, mutual exchange. But we forget that because we live in a capitalist society and things like that. And the fact is, y'all, we were captured. And like you said on the last show, we ain't out of it. We got to find our way out of it. And for those of y'all who are in a rush, patience is the father of all character. It might not happen in our lifetime, but we got to plant seeds now so that we can have life-sustaining institutions in our communities, in our families, and in our relationships, and with our own personal relationship with the all. So you got the divine side and you have the national side. So me learning, not just because I read books and I read the prophet's warning, and it said that, and that we're not Negro, Black, colored, African American, and any of these other labels that they want to give us. I found out through genealogy, birth certificates, death records, census records, newspaper articles. A lot of my family, a lot of Ogun, everybody was in the military. A lot of the men in my family are military on both sides. I found out Virginia, Powhatan, South Carolina, North Carolina, Cherokee, Lumbee, Yamasee, Georgia. You understand? Creek and Seminole? Come on. And we are the ones that didn't sell out or not under Title 25 of the United States Code sold out as Indian. We don't have those same type of contracts, and we never will. And I understand it, but at least I can identify the names that my ancestors called them if we're not Black. Now, the census records, because we were captured, they identified and they looked at them and said Negro. Or when we get to certain years and you have the Racial Integrity Acts, which started by Walter Plecker in Virginia, but were adopted by all these other states. When you do your research, you got to find out. You got to find out. Oh, I see why it was mulatto here. Now she's as Negro. Them acts were in place. You got to do your research. You got to do your due diligence. But again, that's not for everybody. Some people just want the remedy. Like, come on, where's the paperwork? It's not the paperwork. There's a spirit behind that spelling. There's a reason why they dismissed that case nolle prosse and gave me back my children. It was my ancestors that were standing with me because I did the work. I did the spelling. I wrote my own writ of habeas corpus. I studied with Cheyenne, Ilamir, Taj Tariq Bey, Ross Mariah, had all the lectures, doing all the shows, Dr. Arlene Bey. I could go on and on. The brother was doing the Moorish Latin. I took all that information and used it. You know, now, everything might not be right. I might not be trying to dissolve from an entity now that I didn't create. You know what I'm saying? However, I can absolutely say, without any type of DNA test based off of real records, that my family is Powhatan, Lumbee. And we were actually free people. Some of us did come over here via slave ships. So now we going into Benin and we're going into Ghana. I get it. I understand that. But that doesn't mean that part of me, where my ancestors have been on this land, my ancestors are standing up like, hey, please say our name. Please say our name. That's where we starting at. And guess what? I'm like, okay, I'm going to teach this to my children, and we're going to roll with family who are teaching the same things, and they want this information, and they're listening to these types of shows. They're following me on social media. And the only way that you can get my food is if you sign up to a private site called The Mothership. You can't get none of my services without that, because that is my community. I started out with like a few people. We got over 300 people on that site right now. That's the only way you can transact with me. So that person who was in the chat, like, show me where you're doing. And we're thriving in this, in this territory where the state of Delaware does business. We are thriving. Not only here, my husband is from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We're doing stuff up there. Every year we get called back to teach in those camps and things like that. I love it. So you cannot tell me not doing the work. With those same women now pay it forward, and the money is exchanged in our community because they come sit under my feet every Sunday for Mommy Sundays. And we're doing a lot of cutting cords and a lot of spiritual work so that we can manifest our gifts and our talents and make room for all the goodness and the blessings to flow through the works that were given to us. You don't need no standardized tests to tell you that you are intellectual or you are good for your tribe, your nation, or your clan, which is really your family. On a national level, we have got to get our families together. We have got to find some type of way to educate ourselves so that we can even comprehend that this is an international thing that we're dealing with right now. And that if we don't, like, it might not have said this in the divine warning from the prophet, then you might have to worry about ICE, because they sure are going into these reservations, picking up people, say, well, y'all don't look Native American to me. Y'all look Asian and Mexican. or you not, I don't not Mexican, but you look Spanish. They know, but we don't know. So it's a personal thing. If you can't take care of it personally and then get with somebody who is for your upliftment and spiritual development and create family and community so you can go out to the other communities surrounding, we will not ever be able to get out of this situation. And that to me is as an ethnic group, the people who are so-called Black people, we are an ethnic group, and as above, so below. It means that you got somebody in the beyond waiting for us to be the greatness that we say that we are.
Yep. I have a comment. Let me go back to the chat here. Yeah, they're coming in. Let me go back to this one that I saw. All right, yeah, we go. N9 and Jules. This came in at 7:31. We can only be received by the world as a nation, and the information we have encompasses so much that it's going to take micro and macro building that it manifests.
I agree. And I think the micro happens in the way that I've been explaining it is like know thyself. All right. Know where you came from. What is making you up? What are the generational assignments that you have to do better? Listen, my mom retired as a millionaire. My grandfather raised my mom owning his own moving company. You understand? My grandmother was known for the food. She was even on the kitchen committee in the church. Like, these might be small things, but all of my same family members, the ones that came out of her womb, are all trustees in the church. I was a Sunday school teacher in the church. Can you believe it? For a couple of years. So again, here we are teaching. I'm starting to realize like spirituality is important to my family. Food is very important to our family. I've always had a beautiful home that I've lived in. So I have a lot to do. Like, nobody was renting in my family. My parents own properties. I was really raised up like the Cosby Show. So why would I go backwards? Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about socially and economically. Like, that's a part of us being in this physical experience. It takes finance to lift a nation. So the first nation is our family. So I'm using my talents and created something that is now worldwide known. And thanks to everybody in the comments that is saying, thank you. They tasted my food at lectures and stuff like that. But that is what I have to offer. That is my gift. That is my service, right? And so now I'm in the community, because if I was just holding it to myself and just being like, yeah, I could cook and posting YouTube videos and all of that, and not allowing people to experience that, then I wouldn't be invited to schools. I wouldn't be invited to cater for people's families. I wouldn't be invited to cooking demos and classes and stuff like that and really get this information. But trust me, when I'm in these classes, I'm talking about all of this. All of this, because I nationalized my gift. So on the micro level, I think we have to nationalize our gifts. They do it all the time. The others that purport to be the sovereign powers, they have nationalized everything. We have to have license. We're not making our own underwear, toilet paper, was some of us are, cars and things like that, right? Our own houses. So we have to nationalize our talents and gifts. And on a macro level, once we nationalize those talents and gifts, and we have educations and life-sustaining institutions again, other than churches and liquor stores that we see on the corner, then I believe that it doesn't take much according to, the codes. I see Europeans doing all the time. They got their own little nations within the United States. Blackwater, for example. How y'all going to expatriate from the United States and have like the largest contract to be mercenaries for the United States?
Let's look at that abundance. Is it that the United States has nationalized, or is it that the United States has maintained the Spanish, French, Dutch, English conquest? As I said last week, United States is not a conqueror. United States is in possession of stolen goods. Spain is a conqueror. England, that's Great Britain, is a conqueror of our land. The Dutch are the conqueror. France is a conqueror. France and Spain transferred through treaty large portions of our land to the United States. And by transferring through the treaties, they transfer Spanish territorial sovereignty to the United States, French territorial sovereignty to the United States. So the United States set up. The United States is maintaining the stolen goods through the United States Constitution. They're maintaining the conquest, European conquest, subjugation, colonization of us and our land through the United States Constitution. I mean, I can be very detailed, very, very detailed, very detailed. So it's called nationalization within their political structure. But let's go back. How did the United States acquire the territorial sovereignty? But I definitely great point you're raising, but I just wanted to provide that clarity there of they're using the United States Constitution to just maintain our subjugation and the conquest and colonization of our Moorish lands.
Well, let me say, I think that they did nationalize in-house because they didn't just sit on the stolen goods as loose property. They converted it into what they call corporate national resources. So land became so-called federal land. Enslaved Africans' labor, like they're now human resources, 14th, 15th Amendment, and all locked up and stuff like that. And all these things like the tobacco, the cotton, the sugar became national wealth. Banking and corporate charters, eventually even the Federal Reserve absorbed all those profits into institutions. And what I'm saying is the reason why we use those institutions is because we don't know who we are and we don't have our own.
Yeah, it's done through Article 4. It's Article 4, Section 3. It's Article 4, Section 3 of the United States Constitution, whereby, and that actually was drafted from the Northwest Ordinance of 1787. So the United States, the states made an agreement. They were fighting over the spoils of war, with Great Britain. So six of the largest states made claims to the Northwest Territory. So they settled that. So the settlement of that is the Northwest Ordinance of 1787. They drafted during the Constitutional Convention, because the Northwest Ordinance of 1787 was drafted by a smaller committee that met outside of the Constitutional Convention. When it was finished, it was sent over to the Constitutional Convention and drafted. So Article 4, Section 3 of the United States Constitution is the language from Article of the Northwest Territory. What they did was the states, to settle their disputes over the lands that they acquired through war from Great Britain, was that they made an agreement to have the lands managed in the hands of Congress. Yeah. So the federal lands, is managed in the hands of Congress. When France transferred the French territorial sovereignty to the United States through the Louisiana Purchase Treaty, they had already had 13 years or 15 years already, because they had already dealt with that in the Northwest Ordinance. So, but Congress manages that.
Yep.
But that was agreed upon, though. That was agreed upon by the state because they had disputes. So it's called nationalization from the end, but what I'm doing is going through the history, going through the political process by which the United States acquired it, by the settlement of it. They're drafting it in the Constitution that it's managed by the Congress. And the reason why it's called federal lands, because they made an agreement that it would be managed in the hands of Congress.
Yep.
Yeah, so you're right about the nationalization. part of it from that perspective of they nationalizing, but how what I did was explain the process by which it got to that point.
Yeah, you do a really great job. You did the same
Absolutely.
thing last week. So what we have to realize is that we're Aboriginal Indigenous people, and the ones that are not from here are Aboriginal Indigenous people. We were not parties to that agreement. So they put these lands in the trust between the states and the Congress, and it didn't have nothing to do with us. It didn't have our consent. And so this doesn't have anything to do with us. That's why I'm saying we have to get back to using their words, nationalize our own stuff. We just don't even, that's why I said education is key, and education is also a remedy, because we need to expose the trust. Article 4, Section 3 shows that Congress is not even the true power. It's only the manager, right?
Well, they managing through the agreement with the states, the Northwest Ordinance, Ordinance, because Article 4, Section 3 was drafted from the Northwest Ordinance. The states, the largest states, Virginia and I think Virginia, Pennsylvania. There was 4 others that made claims to the Northwest Territory, which is comprised now of Illinois, part of Minnesota, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana. They were fighting. They was disputes. So the smallest states were out of that. So the smallest states, Samuel Chase of Maryland, which was part of the smallest state that did not had claims to the Northwest Territory. Samuel Chase, Samuel Huntington, Samuel Chase of Maryland. He proposed that it be managed in the hands of Congress, because the smaller states was fearful that the larger states would grow economically and also in power and also in size. So this was a major dispute. The most important article in the entire Constitution, United States Constitution, is Article 4, Section 3. If you know the history, that's what I'm giving y'all now. If you know the history, I mean, I don't make claims that I don't write checks that I cannot cash. If I make a claim, I can present finding of facts. I can present exhibits. I said to Israel, as I said to Israel, no one will out exhibit me. No one will out exhibit me. No one would out exhibit me.
So you got to know who you are, so we can demonstrate that we're the original heirs whose properties were placed under this administration without consent, right? I think that's one. I think that using their language, we need to nationalize our inheritance, because we need our own institutions. We need education. We need commerce. We need governance. And again, that all starts with the microcosm. And why? So we can claim our estate. And we keep talking about treaties. If we start being educated about certain things, like the Navajo, they forced their children, they got their microcosm and their families together. They were just like, y'all are going to be attorneys. And they went back and got stuff, that they needed generations later. We have to have that kind of mindset, and we have to be able to have that type of goals for the people who are interested in these things. Because remember, everybody's not evolved, and their purpose is not the same reason. So we can't just throw all humans into one calabash and say, hey, you look like my complexion, so we need to all vote this way. But I do think, since we bring up treaties, that we need to stand on the treaties and to challenge all unlawful dispossession when we are ready to do that, when we come together. But again, baby steps. So, so that's where I am on practical remedies. The practical on the microcosm, the practical remedy
Go back to the
is family genealogy, storytelling, have storytelling nights. In our family, we actually meet on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Oh, excuse me, Wednesdays and Sundays. Like, it's not a joke, because you're going to go to your staff meetings out here. If you go to somebody else and you work for Europeans or for somebody else's company, somebody else's family, they don't even give you 10% of what they're earning. So y'all going to have these meetings here on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and that's what we do. So make sure that all of your research is matching the oral history. And this is why I say, if you really want to honor your ancestors, have conversations with your living ancestors. How are you going to be like, oh, we're so proud that in E5 they have oral histories, but you didn't believe it when your grandmom and your great grandmom said that they were Indian? Because y'all were saying that they were looking Indian because they had almond eyes, high cheekbones, and straight hair. Because y'all bought into that marketing. You know what I mean? So I like to watch stuff like now. I can't wait for Chief of War to stop. And so we can have conversations about Hawaii and who are those people? Where did they come from? You know, because if you Google it and say, oh, they came from the Fiji Islands, but you know what's crazy is I was watching some stuff today and his sister was like, I'm from Ghana. And in our family, the Ewe people, we know that we're from America. I was like, this is too much. Like, this age of information is too much. You know, she's like, yes, all West Africans are from, you know, the Americas, that they came from here on some old like Horace Butler Rocks Cry Out type conversation, right? So,
oh yeah, good book. Yeah,
I love it. I love him. And it's just deep. Like, I stay in his private groups and I'm, like I said, information junkie. But I just love to see it coming out. Like, this sister from Ghana was just like, yeah, we're actually from our peoples are from the Americas. And somebody was like, no, y'all people from Ile Ife. It's like, yeah, that's what y'all taught. But she was like, y'all are really from Kemet, from Egypt, and those people we all know because the writings of the wall said that there was a place that they were from, and it wasn't here. It was just so much. I love it. But the thing is, okay, that's a lot of great information. It doesn't matter. I don't think that any of that stuff really matters right now if we're not going to be banding together to claim our estate. But for right now, what's important is that I can tell my daughter we are Powhatan, Lumbee, Cherokee, Creek, you know, those types of things. And I can say, these are our people. And I can look and be like, these people were farmers. Wow. I'm so tired of, you know, my mom saying me, you know, the Richardsons in South Carolina, they were root workers, and your grandmom over here, my mom's mom used to be making fun of them because they, you know, they were doing the unholy things. I'm like, wow, that's what's happening now. Like, I love church. Like, I'm one of the people like love the energy and the spirit that happens in church. I actually love going to church. I love going to temple. I'm just one of those people that love that. I love the energy when I go to like the MSTA. I love going to House of Reawakening Minds and, you know, us getting that information and being there. We all know that we're there for one purpose, right? I realize like that is something that my family has always done on both sides. So I honor that. And I understand what my assignment is. Like, I'm not one of those people that, like what Taj says, throws the baby out with the bathwater. You know, I honor my elders. You're my elder. I honor the teachers who came before me that I remember just being like, wow. I wonder when I told you this last show. I was wondering like when he's gonna ask me to do something. I thought I just wasn't deep enough, smart enough, you know what I mean? Because you were just out there. And then I just learned on the last show, like, you've been doing it since the 90s. You pulling out receipts, and I'm just like, I'm still totally African at this point. Like, you couldn't tell me nothing. I am RBG all the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, you couldn't tell me nothing. I was just so like, this is it. And it just created a rabbit hole. And the rabbit hole was so seriously that it's magnetizing, that it forces you to grow spiritually as well. Because there's a lot of what I call dirty moors. It might not be the same definition of other people, but I'm like, how you claim and love truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and you wear these feathers and y'all disrespectful. You don't know where your children is. You don't know have a good relationship with your baby's mom. None of your relationships work. Your breath stink. Like, it's just too much. You know what I mean? I'm just like, you're not nice. You're not kind. You're not sweet. Like, we don't know how to have conversations. You know, we having debates, but we don't even know how to have conversations. So I also realize like attracts like. I understand the law of correspondence. So this is why I think it's part of my life mission to let people know, like, you really have to honor your ancestors. You really got to stand on what it is, that there is nothing that we have that didn't come from them. This technology that we have, everybody wasn't able to sit here and have these conversations with laptops and things like that. not in recent history that we know of. I don't know about the lands that were underneath where they had much, different technology. I'm talking about our recent ancestors that are waiting for us to stand up and be counted because they were forced to being called Moors. Black and colored and Negro. And they were taken off their own lands. Like, I'm like, what do you mean you've been on this land since before slavery? What do you mean? It didn't make any sense to me. So I feel like it is my priorities, my objective, and it's my reason for being that I've got to tell everybody, come on, my ancestors are trying to work with you in the beyond. Like, they're just waiting for us. And stop giving up. Stop thinking everything is going to just be handed to you because you have child support. Now you interested in more divine and national movement. Now you want to know about trust. Now you want to know the difference between private and public. Private and public is don't post. Private means some of that stuff don't go on social media. You know what I mean? Because that's public. You don't own it. You're not even the caretaker of it. So some stuff don't need to be said. And I'm giving very generic remedies and things like that. But I've been in this movement for a long time too. I was a part of something called Summit of the Moors. We're behind closed doors in Florida for 3 years in a row. Taj was down there. We had everybody. We invited everybody to come down there and behind closed doors, rented our whole hotels and things. And we're creating national solutions. And I still have all the stuff that is published that I talked about. And you know what my solution was? Home ecosystems, home economics. Women, take y'all places as the lawful patriarchs and governors of your family. I want you to understand who you are. By just laying with you and being able to tap into your womb and stuff like that, you are initiating a man and helping him to become whole and vice versa. It is a merging of masculine and female energy because y'all chose to incarnate with this color. Y'all chose to incarnate in this land and with this gender. And you have a reason for being here. And you are supposed to be fruitful and multiply, not necessarily through our wombs, but through making sure, like I said earlier, that we nationalize these talents and things like that we have, and they become something. And that eventually, maybe in this lifetime, we won't have to be stateless. We won't have to be captured. And we can stand intercontinentally. I don't even understand why, if we like going to St. Thomas so much or we like spending time. Listen, I'm a mother and y'all know how I fought for my children. What do you mean? Y'all didn't after all these years, ain't nobody came for us, right? Because we're not your people. You're not our mothers and fathers. So if we really believe that, let's go over there and just be like, listen, I'm over here and we call ourselves, let's say we call ourselves Pickney. You know what I mean? This is what we call ourselves. These are the things that we have going on. These are the nationalized things that we have going on. We need you to say that we need you to be doing this amount of treating. We got drop squad kitchens. We got schools that we're going to do. Why are we not doing those things? We just taking vacations and becoming citizens of other places and giving up our birthrights here. That's why I'm like, yep. We need to have some things. We need education. People got to know who they are and where they stand and the blood that was sacrificed on this land and how we are tied to it. And stop trying to be something else. I've been over there. You know how when you come over here, no disrespect to anybody, we could be like, oh, he's Nigerian. Oh, he's Ethiopian. Oh, he's at least Arabic or something, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Hey, I'm sorry, I'm not looking at you. I can't be like, yeah, but yeah, you look like you're Ghana for sure. Nobody's looking at me like she's Fulani for sure. Do you understand what I'm saying? They look like us, if anything. Mm-hmm. So we have to have some type of education center. In my opinion, this information that you have should be Harvard education, university. Like, that's what we should be doing. We should be putting our money where our mouth is because we are the original founders of universities to begin with. How did they pass us? Why are we so proud to go to HBCUs, which were all founded by Europeans? It's just not making any sense to me. This is where the real education is coming, and I'm giving thanks. So let's take all these YouTube people and scholars and people who have the receipts and the information, and let's behind closed doors figure out how we're going to fund these people and have our own universities.
I'm co-founder of Moroccan Post School of Government International Law. I'm co-founder with Shim Malachi Bay and
Yes, Jim.
Terrence Bay. So we have our online school for 3 years. The Rock and Post School of Government and International Law. In fact, our YouTube, we're live on right now on our YouTube page. So you're live on our YouTube page now on the Rock and Post Media YouTube. So this is being broadcast on Magnus Crystal Pyramid YouTube as well as the Moroccan Post Media YouTube.
Well, that's
We have
good.
go
I
ahead.
didn't know, but that's what I mean. We need those. I want my grandson to be able to be like, where are you going? Are you going to this one or are you going to this one? Well, I'm gonna choose this one, Mama, because I want to work and Drop Squad. I have these ideas, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna get my degree from such and such over here. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't care if it's PLM, Pan African Liberation Movement. Let that be a part of the university, because some people really are Pan Africans. That's who you are. That's who you evolved to be in this lifetime. I'm not mad at you. As long as you're upstanding, you're not murdering people. I see that you're producing children and families. You're healthy. That's important to me. I think this is where we have to go. Like, we can't keep giving our resources to go into these HBCUs and putting our energy into having the 6th district of Africa. Like, y'all, it's just too much.
But type your questions in. Let me read this comment. A couple comments here. Lorraine Muhammad, Islam. I'm enjoying the show, learning so much. These systematic barriers have limited Black families' ability to accumulate wealth, resulting in lower home ownership rates and inheritance.
Lorraine Muhammad. Peace, sis.
You know her? All right.
Yeah.
We have here Key 75. I remember years back doing C, you did a interview talking about how you were out helping people grow their own gardens. That was powerful to me. So you know the sister Key 75.
It was the Fair Exchange program. We still have that. Like, I was so serious. I started Drop Squad and I was like, we need to be self-sustainable. And to this day, I'm actually working with farms right now. Like, this is not a joke. And only Black farms. So-called Black farms. I'm just saying that because, I got used to. But yeah, this is my sister. She instead of letting the farm just get sold, she bought her family's farm and she's running a major, like, she's growing hydroponics, and she's also doing traditional farming on there. And I love that she homeschools my nephew and is out there.
This is Key 75. You talking about Key 75?
No, I'm still doing the same thing. So
I got you. I thought you was all right.
But I've done moved on to like working with farms now. Like, it's that serious.
Awesome. Yeah, I got to connect you with Brother Quasi, out of LaGrange, Georgia. In fact, I'll be going to LaGrange, Georgia, next month, October 11th. Quasi Tribe Dreamer is confidence, fact-finding event, fact-finding 2025, confidence, and I'm one of the guest speakers. LaGrange, Georgia. It'll be on the community garden. That's where we'll be, and it'll be broadcast live. So you'll see me. You'll be broadcast live. I think on BTV. April Ross has out in the I think LaGrange. I think she's in LaGrange. I think also D Mosley. Has a television show. So they'll be broadcast live on several different outlets, and you'll see me in LaGrange, Georgia, live on the community garden on October 11th. So I'm excited about that. I actually put together a brochure, a trifold, and the trifold was done today. So I actually created it. I didn't graphically design it actually, and I sent the information, but I created the write up on it and everything, and had brother, and I sent to the Quasi. He had somebody one of the members of Tri Regima put it together for me for its graphics. So I'm excited. I'm excited about that. Quasi will be on for the second time to do part 2 next month. I forget I think it's the third Monday of next month. Yeah, so let's type your questions in. If you're just joining us, we're here with Abundance Child. Type your questions in comments. Once again, the title is Generational Assignments, Breaking Patterns, Building Remedies. If you have not hit the like button, please do so now. Hit that subscribe button. Let people know that we're on. We got 35 more minutes. If you see my screen, mooresandmasonry.org. If you want to get my books, you go to mooresandmasonry.org. Let us know how we can find you, so that we don't, let's do this now so that we have this time. So we're going to do it now. And I also want you to give it again at the end. How can we find you? Tell us, give us your information. Also put it in the chat. Put your emails or contact information in the chat, Abundance.
I know who Albert Perry is. Somebody asked about Rashid Malik L. I know about.
Let me go to the comments. All right, Sheikh Malik L. All right, yeah, that was just typed in a minute ago. All right, Rashid Malik L. Piece of. All right. So we have quite a few comments. Sheehan Chander Bay, I've known him. He's been with us for 3 years. Honors to you, sister, for speaking your truth, sharing your journey, sheds light that I think helps others in their journey. Peace, Sheehan.
Thank you.
Amanda's been with us for 6 years. Yeah, since I actually took my class. She came from Florida and took my etymology class at Temple University Pan-African Studies Community Education Program. And she stayed here for 3 months. And that's how I met Amanda, but she's been with us for 6 years. Reversion to sovereignty before nationalization or vice versa. And she's well studied. Sister Amanda is well studied. She's been with us for 6 years. She's taken all our courses and so forth. And she's well studied in etymology and also and international law. And she actually took our trust in legal safeguard course. She's taken our grammar classes and so forth.
I had to put it in the chat like that, abundancechild.com, because it said it won't put.
Let me see. It hasn't. I don't see it yet.
Right. I just put abundancechild.com, but it wouldn't allow me to write abundancechild.com in there, so I had to do it like.
Oh, I got you. All right. So it hasn't come through yet. Oh, I see. I didn't scroll up enough. All right, abundancechild, abundancechild.com. It's abundancechild.com, everyone. All right, abundancechild.com. So I got you. And you talked about a class. You have let us know about the class you have going on.
It's an in-person class. So if anybody's ever in this area, you can reach out to me.
In-person class. All right.
Yeah, I do. I really value doing stuff in person and not doing
all
stuff
right.
online. There was a sister from a previous show that I got to get back with her. I just, I was going to try to do something online, but every time I went to do it and structure it and put the email together, I just couldn't. And I know the sister said that, she really could use it in her life right now, but Spirit just did not allow me to create an online platform that I feel like I just can't right now. I have, like I said, a grandbaby, and I pretty much know my generational assignment. So, I think because I was trying to do it and not charge, and I think that's what happens to me is when I got to charge in order to give my time, it's hard for me to do it. So I said, I don't want to commit to doing something and spending 2 to 3 hours a week with these sisters and pouring out so much energy. And she had already said she didn't have finance and stuff like that. So I think I was just like, I just can't do it right now. you know. But
I got you.
You see, I write a lot, so I post so much stuff. I'm on everything. Yap it, Instagram, Tumblr. I'm on everything.
Yeah, you are. Absolutely. Yeah, any questions, y'all? Type your questions in. We got 30 minutes left. Type your questions in. Type questions or comments. But let's get some questions, y'all. Let's grab some questions. You dropped a wealth of knowledge on us. I mean, I'm gonna go back to your talking points. Education as remedy. Get in where you fit in. You did talk about that.
He asked me if I agree about the Albert Perry thing. What I agree is that they found an origin closer to like 338 I think thousand years ago. And I know it shook the field, but what I don't agree is that DNA is what we call African. That's what I don't agree.
Mm-hmm.
I think that DNA. I think that we as an ethnic group have the most diverse and the oldest and most ancient bloodlines, and that is going to come out eventually.
All right.
But I'm not feeling that I'm just not feeling all that. I'm not one of those people who subscribe to the out of Africa theory. Just don't. I can't. And that's why I said I know it's my job in this lifetime to stand up for those ancestors who are just like, nope, not Africa as we know it today. I came from the school of thought from Moorish Divine National Movement. They said this is Africa. You know what I'm saying? So I'm at a whole different mindset when it comes to certain things, but it's not as important to me anymore. What's important is food, shelter, clothing, transportation, communication, and education. That's what's important to me. And I, in my own life, by using the terms that I understand, am nationalizing food, shelter, clothing, transportation, communication, and education. Just how I run my own government and my own family, and how we bring families together to do the same thing. And I think we're doing a phenomenal job. Like, I don't use that site to go on and be posting deep stuff. I just put that site up there because that is your registration. We register for everything else. Mm-hmm. So why y'all not going to register for my site if you want to do business with me? This is how we got to do business, because I'm running my business on the private side right now. You know how many times it's just fair exchange for things? There's no fiat currency involved. I need you to do, how much do you charge to do, how much will you charge me to do my show? Because I really want to be like Lights, Camera, Action, $2,500. Okay, well, you got $2,500 worth of food. Brother be ordering Marley salads and hibiscus and sorrel drinks and heal thyself teas. And so and said, can you put it? I got it. That's how we working. That's how we know our energy is rotated in our community. Mm-hmm. That's what's important. It's not important for me right now where I'm sitting to know, is Africa the foundation of civilization? Well, in my house, it ain't. And we're doing well with that information, because when we talk to the ancestors, they speak back, because it's not a fake thing. We have real relationships with nature, and we know the parts of nature that personified itself, and so therefore we might know the virtues, let's say, of an Obatala or an Oshun. I don't need a shrine to Oshun. I go sit at the river and I can feel the energy. You feel the air when you're near water. You know how good it feels to get in a shower? That's real energy. What are you doing with that energy? You just take a shower and you just get out? Or do you be like, thank you, mother, thank you, water, thank you for cleansing me? Water has memory. When did you say thank you? May this water do such and such and such and such. That's how powerful we are, and we just take it for granted. But we could watch on YouTube how they use dirty water or microwave water to feed a plant and live water to feed the plant, and the one with the microwave died. Mm-hmm. What about our internal thoughts? What about how we speak to ourselves? Because however you're thinking and speaking to yourselves is going to show up in the real world. And it's going to show up with other people. It's going to show up in how you treat people, the things that you do. That's your religion. So ancestral assignments, that's what I think that, we should be getting back to. And I think that's a remedy. And I think education is the remedy. And until we start having life-sustaining institutions, we're not going to ever be able to understand our position on a national or international level, because we don't know who we are, because we're not acting like it.
Mm-hmm.
On the grand scheme of things.
Let me read this, brother Supreme Ill. I know who he is. I think you know Supreme Ill. I think he's he's in Maryland. So great to see the great mother abundance child. Love this sister.
Thank
Yeah, I've
you.
known Supreme for a while.
I know a few. I wasn't sure if it's the DJ Supreme L or no, because he's in New York.
I think this is the one in Maryland.
All right. Well, thank you. I probably know him by face.
Let me see. Important information. Thank you for your time and energy. May abundance of wealth and joy surround you.
Ashe.
Type your questions in or comments. I'm going through these. I just saw something just came in. To fly she trusts. Why are so many Asiatic cliquish instead of being fully united now in 2025 here on out? What are your thoughts?
I think it's a piercing question. And I think about just my walk in, let's say, Ifa. I'm so glad that I chose to learn it and study, like be self-taught, and didn't try to click up with people. I think we are so trying to find ourselves and define ourselves that we click up, because that click is giving us, we're benefiting from that click in some way. And the reason why you leave the click is it no longer benefits you anymore. You got whatever you needed from it. So we have the click of people who are just like, I voted for Kamala, or you got the click of blacks for Trump. You know what I mean? Like, we're clicking up in all the wrong ways, because that is what we see the colonists do. And that's what all their franchises support, and we buy into. And so I feel like that's just the nature of lower self. I think that's lower self activity.
Supreme Meal asks, what can we eat to clean the gut?
Papaya. Start scooping out some of its seeds and drinking it whole. Pumpkin seeds. Make milk out of it. I make tuna out of it. I blend it up with like celery, and then add like onions and nori, dulse, kelp, sea moss in it, parsley, and put that on a salad. It tastes like tuna after you add sea moss and kelp and all of that. Lots of fresh fruits and vegetables. Like, try to do at least a 3 to 7 day fast with just fruits. Because it's going to hydrate you and also give you all the vitamins and minerals that you need, because most disease, death, sickness comes from lack of vitamins and minerals. And that's where you're also going to get your water from, because most of the water that we drink is like not real water. Certain herbs like burdock, cerci, yellow dock, so the bitter herbs, you can drink some of those bitter herbs. They're also going to help clean out your kidney and so once you cleanse out the gut, it's really important to be cleansing the liver. Like, that's the first thing that I usually go for, is because the liver is the thing that detoxing all of that. So you gotta, our livers and kidneys are overworked. So that's where the dandelion root, and make it a part of your daily habit. Like drink dandelion tea, drink a lot of nettle tea. The burdock root, like I said, on the regular cleansing. Lots of citric things like with citrus, like your lemons and all of that will help you digest. So when you have your water, add some oranges and lemons and some fresh mint and drink that on the regular to help with the digestion. And lay off of a lot of oily, fried types of stuff right now to give your body a break, because it messes with your sugar. And if you start messing with your sugar, it messes with your pancreas. Okay, a lot of people have diabetes and they think it's about the sugar, where it's really more about the fat in the oil. Yeah, and I would lay off just for a minute, like when you're doing your fast, and laying off like any fish, because a lot of these waters are polluted and they're messed up. And like I said, we're not talking to the water, we're not asking the water to help us to push things out and to absorb the nutrients that we need. Yeah, that's pretty much,
The brother says, give thanks.
Yes. Oh,
Great mother.
thank you.
A supreme meal. All right. Any other questions? Type your questions in. Type your questions in. Send your questions to Daryl, Captain Noah.
Thank you, John.
This is the dynamic sister. I said, and we need this energy, both our brothers and sisters. We need this energy from from women presenting this. Like I said before, we have a lot of brothers here on YouTube and doing these different lessons on YouTube and Facebook. But and it's just great to have you, to see your presence again. It's good when I see you on Facebook. Oh, she's doing another. I love it. There she go doing another lesson. I love it.
I also wanted to say, let's be more mindful and have intent in everything that we think and we say and that we do, because we really are God. That's that 7 in the middle of the circle 7. Like we really are that. Okay. And when you're cutting your vegetables and stuff like that, don't forget that energy of iron is innovation and creativity in nature. Some people call it Ogun. When you're dealing with the fruits, you're dealing with water. That's mama energy. When you're dealing with, so have conversations. There are esoteric properties of all the fruits, the vegetables, and the herbs that we're using. So while you're using these things, use your breath to invoke what it is that you want to happen. People love my food, but they don't know it's the conversation behind the food. It's the love, it's the energy, it's the spoken word that goes into the food. So somebody say he's craving, a cheesesteak. I know that person is missing like a Philly cheesesteak. He's missing the grease. So let's use extra virgin olive oil. He's missing the protein. So we could either use mushrooms as the protein. We can use vital wheat gluten, which is pretty much the protein of the wheat. We can use pea protein. There's so many different things, but what I want to do is I want to create texture with that olive oil, which is going to give a mouthfeel, and mix it in with peppers and onions and mushroom. That's going to give him all the nutrients that he needs, because there is a biological reasoning behind the reason why he wanted to eat that in the first place. So I'm thinking about all of that in there, and I'm making sure that before it goes into the roll, it's cohesive. And I've got like my nut cheeses or sunflower cheese to hold it in, and the sauces that have all the umami in it with lots of garlic and things like that. So at the end of the day, it looks like a cheesesteak. It goes down like a cheesesteak, but it's not going to hurt him like a cheesesteak. So be very intentional about everything that you do. Even before I went on this show, I just prayed to the north, the south, the east, and the west, that my words would be of help and not a hindrance to anybody. That if there's any situation that comes up, that I can use my good character, because that is the thing that will save all of us, is our good character. Don't matter what these folks are doing to us or how bad we went through, at the end of the day, it's the character that will save us. So may I be able to answer every question with good character. If I don't know, say I don't know. To be honest, to have integrity, like be intentional with all the things that you do, that you say, with what you wear, and show up as the gods that we are. And I think that things will start changing in our favor.
Awesome, awesome. We have Two Fly She Trust. When are you going to do a in-house lecture to come out, see all the good teachers from out the Moore circle for meet and greet and learn much more? You understand the question?
Oh, that was for me. I thought he was asking you. Like I said,
I think, I mean,
I come
for
from the
you.
school where we were doing that. I was coming all the way from Delaware to National Black Theater in Harlem, Marcus. You know what I'm saying? I was doing it. It's just, I'm glad that there's a need that people want that. I'm ready to do it. I'll produce something like that easily. It's easy
Yeah,
to do.
please do. If you want, I can. If you want my help, I'll help. I mean, I just got so much on my.
We all do, but that's how we have to know it's
I
serious. Like,
got abundance of serious, but
I think it's much easier. Like, we can all just make it like a Moorish family reunion or something and just have it really organized. I'm great at doing those types of things, but people got to be able to put finance.
I'll help. But as far as leading the way on it, I can't. I can't.
I mean, it's okay. That's what the sisters are
I
for.
do. I mean, I've just got so much on my plate, man.
The sisters are for.
Um.
In my personal opinion, I feel like we're better at those types of things. So,
Yes.
um,
Yes. Yes. Good. I'm
I
glad you
feel
said
like that's
that.
just the way, our
Hey,
anatomy is. We've
great.
always been that anyway, that's just who we are. Like, so I just know that for me and where I am, if we were doing back in the early 2000s, like I said, it's not hard to say,
Mm,
hey, everybody stay at such and such. Just know it's going to cost $150 to maybe stay there. You know that
mm.
you just got to pay for a weekend to do a weekend like that. I'd
Yeah.
be like,
Yeah.
baby,
Yeah. No,
five hundred
yes.
dollars. So you can pay people to come and speak and stuff like that, or make sure that people sign up and be like, we have lectures over here. You can sign up for A, B, and C. You can sign up for an etymology class. Did you want to sign up for John Carr's JC alignment class? Do you want to sign up for a cooking demo with abundance? How to nationalize your food? You know what I mean? Stuff like that. What do you want? Do you want to know private and public with Taj? But make sure that, like I said, we're charging $25 for each session, and you get 3 sessions, so that's $75, and you got to be able to get there. That's all that it is. Like, I'm ready to do those types of things, and I'm ready for them to not be online. And everybody, put your phones down, leave them in your room.
Well, I
I'm
agree.
ready for
No doubt.
like when we're serious, like the end of the thing, like let's have a panel of what's the next step and really be accountable for the next step. Those are the things, like I said, we were doing back then, but people got married, had lives, children grew up, we stopped.
Mm.
I know I did. I left the Bunny Shell Live and I grew a $1 million business called Drop Squad Kitchen. It's the thing that's sustaining me now. Like me spending all my time every Thursday for sometimes three. These shows, we would do the 2 hours and then you have a whole nother hour that you still be
Yeah,
talking.
we was getting it in. Oh man, I was doing the block talk shows, man. I was
That's
doing a
what
lot
I
of block
did.
talk shows, man.
Yep.
I
And
was on yours and
but I'm just saying it didn't pay. Like there
Silver
was no
Alert
patients coming in. You
and
know what I mean?
others and this and
I,
Cosmo Ill and I
yes.
mean I was on different shows, man.
But the thing is, it didn't necessarily pay. So that was a free, not free, but that was
Yeah,
me.
that's the thing. It's just it was taking time away from me working on Moors and Masonry.
Well, you know what happened to me? I really was considering, do I need to really go apply for food stamps? Like, oh my God, I'm a fraud. I'm about to go get these reparations, right? And I was like, nah, I can't do that. And I started Drop Squad, and I couldn't go back to I couldn't go back to doing it. It was just like, because you prep, just like you prep for these shows. You do the flyers.
No doubt. Oh man, yes.
It's a lot of work.
Man, they don't, man. Yes.
But I was like broke in the process. I couldn't get people to donate. So I'm ready,
Mm.
and I'm willing to put like a poll out there to be like, who's serious? And it has to be planned. Like, where are we going to do this? Are we going to do this in Delaware? Are we going to do this in Maryland? Going to do this? Where are we going to do it? Because I'm not doing something for like 2 people to show up.
Oh no, I ain't got time for that. I ain't
But
got
we
time
get
for that.
there, right? And we're happy when 2 people show up, but it's like
No.
you
Mm.
barely break even.
Yeah. All right. Well,
That's another thing. We got to understand business, man. Like sometimes we're the worst when it comes to business. So we have to have some education in how do your bloodlines handle business, right? Like I got bloodline that is very serious. Like, no, you do stuff the United States way. You need a license to in order to do your food. You cannot operate as no private club the way you're doing it. Okay, all right. Because this is what the United States, the state of Delaware, or the city, you need to do this. To this day, do you know I still don't operate with a license? To this day. To this day.
yeah. I got. I mean, just Two Fly from Two Fly. She trusts. I missed that Block Talk Radio, but is there any new outlet that's out her
For me to
us
use.
to you to help me out because I'm trying to
I don't want to. I did. You know, I started doing a Buddy Show Live again. Like, I was just like, wait, this is some work. Like, I don't. Listen, abundancechild@gmail.com. Anybody can email me or you can talk to me on the mothership or I'm on social media. You can DM me if you have any suggestions, but I just don't know. And a lot of people keep saying like do your YouTube, but I'm like it's really work. And I'm good with doing the food right now and raising my family.
it's work, man. Yeah,
Being
because
a wife is work. You know what I mean?
they
My
don't know the work that man. I'm telling you, it's work. Israel, we do New York Talk Perspective. New York was a New York talk perspective talk show. New York every second and fourth Wednesday, and we prepare. We've actually be doing part 5. Why should we call ourselves black? And we actually prepare. Uh, uh, PowerPoint presentations. In fact, Israel and I are working on 7 books. We have we're gonna have that whole series. We have that series. Why should we call ourselves black? That'll be a book. That'll be a 4-book series. So we're getting it in. We got the school, Moroccan Post School Government International Law, and we have the YouTube page, Moroccan Post Media YouTube page, which is being aired. This show is being aired live as we speak.
You know, brother Talib Mosty Bay, I'm militant. Like, I don't know if you remember me from my shows. I used to go hard. If you got a driver's license, if you got a birth certificate, like, I used to go.
I don't remember. I mean, I do remember your shows, but I mean,
I used to
back
talk
in
like
2012, and so
it was like 2009, but it was 2008, 2009. And Ross Mariah was like, yo, settle down. Like, you're doing too much. You can't be calling people out. Like, she literally hit me up and was like, you can't talk to people like that. And I was just like the Nat Turner of the More Divided National Movement for a minute because, the energy was so new to me that I just went hardcore the whole way. So I'm very militant right now when I'm hearing about all of these things. It's kind of like, I feel like, why are we not forcing people to be in your school? Like, you should not be able to have a voice on a platform if you haven't at least taken etymology 101. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it should be required. I don't want to hear about your education from Johns Hopkins, Delaware State University. I don't want to hear about your school. If we're talking about our nation and our state, this is our public school. This is where all the children from henceforth, this is the elementary, this is your primary education. This is your secondary education. If you have not taken this, and this, if you have not studied from these teachers who are respected, have been vetted, and we all agree to as a nation that this is our institution. Look, we have technology. We don't have to have a brick and mortar. I'm probably saying too much right now. I'm just saying that's where I'm militant, and that's why I had to step back because I'm just like, it's too much talk. We it's just too much. I'm just gonna go do it my way. You know what I mean?
Well, I get it. I get it. I mean, I know from experience this, and I definitely appreciate you.
Thank you.
So give us some. We have 5 minutes left. Abundance.
Oh,
Give
well,
us
thank
some last minute wisdom.
I want to say thank you to everybody who showed up in today's chat and showed me love. I want to thank even Lee Bay. I see the reflection in all of us. I'm grateful because, as I said earlier, y'all getting something from me, but I'm definitely getting love and energy from you. And I think that's what we're here to do. Let's not be under the illusion that we are not one, especially when we have something like the Yoruba call Egbe. Egbe are your
Mhm.
heavenly mates. It's your spiritual society, the thing that is even more powerful than the bloodline, because your bloodline are the people that you have to incarnate with, but your spiritual family, which is all of us, is very powerful. And I really want us to really start being considerate of our spiritual family. And spiritual family doesn't mean, oh, it's all the ones that wear fez, or all the ones that say Islam, or all the ones that say Assalamu alaikum, or Shalom, or Alafia. Your spiritual family are the people that you keep coming into contact. Like I see people in the chat saying, oh, I remember that sister, or something like that. We've been rolling with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So let's do our best as individuals on a divine microcosmic level to believe in ourselves and be the best version of ourselves, so that we can magnetize and attract our spiritual family, tribe, clan, nation, empire, dominions. It's almost on some old Neville Goddard type time. Like, see it, hear it, feel it, become it. You know what I mean? Like, if let's revise on a whole level that this whole slavery thing never happened to us, so that in present we're operating from a different place. Let's see ourselves as already free and doing all the things that we say that we want to do. And then do the things on the
Yeah.
micro level by
You're
just
talking about projection. I got you. Great
doing
point.
what
Great
other
point.
nations do. You get with somebody, be loyal and honest with each other. You have children with each other, stay with each other. Or don't get with each other. Check y'all's bloodlines out before. See what generational issues they got. Be like, yeah, I'm not in line. Like, we not doing that. You know what I mean? I'm definitely not. I definitely was at a certain type of consciousness before. I was just like, yeah, I don't attract brothers that eat differently than I do. You know what I mean? Like, there's just no way I'm attracting a Nigerian that eats dog. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how much you know spirituality and stuff like that. It's it's not in
Yeah,
alignment.
y'all wouldn't click, man.
It's just
Yeah.
not. You know what I mean?
Nah, y'all wouldn't click,
You
man.
would imagine the amount of sisters that are forcing themselves into situations because we are so trying to find ourselves looking outside for information. So now you find yourself, in a situation you're married to the Babalao. You know what I mean? It's real talk. So I'm just saying, let us do justice to each other by loving ourselves first. Because with love, then you will be able to magnetize truth. And when you have truth, it is so peaceful. And when you have priests, there's such a freedom in that. You know what I mean? It's like you didn't realize at the time that your ancestors separated you from this person because there's no way that that person fit in your bloodline, but you fighting and you stalking a person, looking at him and chasing him online, and you realize what you have your husband like, oh my God, what was I looking at that person for? And that's justice.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, another sister that I had, I forgot to mention another sister that I had on, Dr. Filet, the founder of the Million Woman March. I had on 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. So I had, so I have another sister on next week, Anita Powell, Dr. Anita Powell.
I'm definitely.
And then after her, I have a queen, Shantae Lene Horford. She'll be on after that. So actually, it will have been 4 out of the last 5 weeks. So I had Dr. Filet on 2 weeks ago. Got you on today, and then the next 2 weeks are sisters. So that's 4 out of the 5 weeks. So that's and we need that. We need and I wanted to bring the female energy on. I didn't want to have this because I would say males. So I got to bring some females on. I gotta bring the female energy in the house.
I do take personal consultations. So
Yeah,
abundance
yeah. Let us know. Come on. Get. That's what I was saying. Get us that information.
hub is abundancechild.com.
All
So
right, you go. Abundancechild.com. She takes personal consultations, y'all.
there you go.
What
And
else? What else do you can we you what other services you provide?
I provide like anything to do with food. I love doing the cooking demos. I even do them
Mm-hmm.
online, personal workshops. I do divinations for people. I don't really talk about that so much, but I do because I'm initiated to ancestors. I,
Mm-hmm.
I am a medium, so I will talk with your folk. You know what I mean? And talk to you. Also do Ori cleansing and head cleaning for people, and I show you how to do it
Oh, you
yourself.
answered that already. All right.
So it's abundancechild.com. I think it's under AC alignment. And I have a free consultation there. So I use that so that we can interview each other to see if we even should be working with each other. And then from then on, we could be like, okay, well, then here's this consultation. But the first, like, I do free consultations too. That's called the discovery call. A lot of times people be like, oh, I love your AI, or I want you to do your website. I do so much stuff for people. You remember I've been publicist for like Rock.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
So I just try to see if that's where my destiny is supposed to take us. I'm different now. So that's why I do the discovery call.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes we're not supposed to be working with each other. Yeah.
Well, this was an honor. You will be back. You know that.
Okay, thank you.
You know that. Wow, this was I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this. This is wonderful. I love to have the female energy in the house is needed. We need that balance. You know, any platforms that on, I'll always try my best to bring the female energy in. I just because it's very important. Because we cannot elevate. By being so imbalanced with so much masculine energy, it's not going to work.
And what's crazy? Some of that masculine energy be coming from the females because we don't know how to
Well,
balance.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, masculine and feminine. So
Speaks well, before you speak on that real quick before we leave.
Some females are exuding too much masculine, while some brothers are exuding too much feminine. You know what I mean? Like there has to be a balance, and that's all. It was really simple. I don't want to go too deep because I want to honor the time.
Yeah. Well, of course. That's just one is.
We just need to keep that in mind. We need to be uniting the nation within, okay, before we try to unite the nation without. Unite the nation within. Balance your masculine and your feminine.
All right, you heard it. She will be back. I'll get with her and come up with another date. All right. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, Brother Hank. Appreciate you, brother, always. Brother Terrence is the administrator and also co-founder of the Moroccan Post School of Government International Law. And he is he's also manages our Moroccan Post Media YouTube. As I said, this also has been being broadcast live on Moroccan Post Media YouTube. I'll see you next week. My guest next week is Dr. Anita Powell. Dr. Anita Powell, my guest next week. Thank you. Peace, everyone.
Peace.